You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your early edition days spoilers for Monday, September 4th through Friday, September 8th. And guess what? They accidentally showed us Monday, September 4th episode when they were trying to get the programming set up on Peacock. You know, if you look, there was season 58 and there's the whole season. And then season 57 contains like half the season from when they migrated over onto streaming. They started storing them there. And then this Monday's episode, which was the 28th, was supposed to be season 59, episode 1. I cannot help but imagine that somebody in programming and coding, whoever's supposed to set up the feed on Peacock, got fired over this, because rather than put up the Monday, September 28th episode, season 59, episode 1, they accidentally put up season 59, episode 6 that belongs to Monday, September 4th, and I got to watch it. That's the nice thing about sitting on top of Peacock waiting for your new episode, is you get lucky. So I'm going to tell you about that real quick, and then I'm going to tell you about some other weekly spoilers that have the benefit of me having the context of that entire episode. Also, we did a standalone video. If you look at our recent days videos and the days playlist, and I captioned it as a leak, and there's a picture of Susan Banks, because Susan Banks is alive, and that was part of the leaked episode. So kind of fun. So if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives updates. And then just real quick, so on the Monday episode that leaked, Teresa Donovan is there. She shows up. She says she came to town to see Brady and to pay respects to Victor. There's some flashbacks and other stuff. I won't go into all the details, so you still have something fresh when you watch it. But basically, she wants another chance with Brady, and he's like, we were toxic together. And she's like, no, the good outweighs the bad. And she reminds him of their bedroom wedding and just all the good times. And he's like, nope, slide out of here. So she goes, but then he's thinking warm thoughts about that bedroom wedding. So he's definitely tempted. And also, Xander is surprised by a job offer. Not a regular job, a hit job. EJ DiMera shows up at his door with a gun pointed at him. And of course, Xander thinks, oh, he's here to kill me. But then EJ surprises him and flips the gun around for Xander to take the handle of the gun, the butt of the gun. What EJ wants is for Xander to march over to Bayview and kill Ava Vitali to avenge the death of EJ's mom, Susan Banks. And Xander handles this well. Also, basically, EJ says, do this because you have you did participate in the plot that resulted in my mom's death. And Xander's like, I've been haunted ever since then. I have nightmares about her. And EJ's like, me too. And the only way to do that is to see the killer punished, and that's Ava. And he even offers to pay him a whole bunch on top of it, and writes down a big fat number of euros with lots of zeros. But Xander turns it down, because first of all, he doesn't want to kill anybody, and he does feel horrible about Susan, but also he's pretty sure that EJ would turn the tables on him, get him to kill Ava, and then set him up to go to prison for her death. And he tells EJ as much. EJ is furious and leaves, and while walking around the park, he calls somebody else, obviously some other kind of contract killer, and says, I want you to kill Ava Vitali. So Marlena asks John and Steve to help identify Dick Van Dyke's character at the same time that Dick Van Dyke, who they're calling Mr. Doe, is over at University Hospital hanging out with Julie and Doug. And Doug tells him a funny joke about, I lost some of my memory too when I was possessed by the devil, and they do a little song and dance number. So Marlena is asking them to chase down his identity. John and Steve go to the VA hospital. They find out his name, and it turns out his last name's Bell. I can't remember the first name. Joseph Bell. And John's like, oh, that's the unit that my dad was in Korea. So it turns out that this guy has a head wound way back from Korea, and he's been an amnesiac for decades. And it also is starting to look like, oh, that's John Black's dad. And if you are wondering if John Black already had parents, he did not. There was a thing way back where they thought these people might have been his parents, and these people it always came to naught. He is like one of the few characters on there that has a blank space where you can insert a father and a mother. So that's probably why they picked him. Also, because Drake Hogestyn's actually a friend of Dick Van Dyke's. They go to the same gym together, so it kind of works out. Marlena, meanwhile, heads over to Bayview because Harris called her to say that Ava Vitali is being tormented by these ongoing hallucinations of Susan. Marlena offers to hypnotize her, and she does, and it helps Ava get her memories of the night of the crash back, but she lies to Marlena and doesn't tell her the big secret. After Harris walks Marlena out and comes back, she says, Harris, Susan Banks is alive. And that's the end of that episode. So that's exciting. That's one whole full day of early edition spoilers, right? All right. So here's one for each day for the rest of the week. On Tuesday, Sloane Peterson is absolutely racked with guilt, and she really wants to tell Eric Brady what she did lying about Nicole's baby. Melinda Trask warned her not to. I feel like she's probably not going to, but we'll see. We also have Rafe finding out that there's trouble over at Bayview Sanitarium. It looks like he's the top cop again in Salem, and maybe it is an attack on Ava's life. And remember, Ava is Rafe's ex, so that's kind of interesting. On Thursday, September 7th, it is time for Victor Kiriakis' funeral, and I'm sure, are going to get a day of flashbacks and tributes. I'm going to have my tissues on hand. You guys probably should too, because we are saying goodbye to a legend, not just an acting legend, but a legendary character in the halls of Salem. So it's going to be a sad day, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to the closure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. Then Friday, September 8th, guess what? Sarah Horton is in labor. Will she do the right thing and tell Xander that she is having his baby? Will he be there for the birth of his child? I really hope so, but I don't know. And Days doesn't pull punches a lot of times. They don't mind hurting people's feelings and doing extreme things. So you never know. He may not know until that kid's 18 and comes back from boarding school, ready to go to college in Salem. You know how they do. All right, that's everything we have. Hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our day's updates. If you enjoyed these early edition spoilers, please click a like. Drop your comments on what you hope to see happening next week. And if you want to check out our entire video, scene by scene, for what is going to happen on Monday, September 4th, check our day's playlist. Thank you so much for listening and watching, tuning in, commenting, and liking and participating in the conversation. I appreciate all of you. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.